Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. He is Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.
And today we're taking an intrepid first step into the world of a new ship, the USS Intrepid.
Look, is that a wasp?
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's based on Bill Krause's, the Wasp class design. Bill Krause did an amazing version of that with like the lower slung thing, which looked really cool. I saw a few years ago at Wonderfest. I love the design; it's quite unique. So this is a new take on that, and I gotta say, I really like this ship. It looks very cool.
We have plenty of views, which is amazing. Yes, the Intrepid, which is the namesake of the Intrepid class. So this is obviously the next iteration from that. Whenever it was made, who knows? Whatever. Here it is. It's not an A. It's not a refit. It's just the next ship named Intrepid. There's been many throughout the years.
Exactly.
Pops up.
Yep.
It's got spoilers, some serious changeling control factors. Might be a wholly control ship. We don't know. A really clear, really clean front view. You can see it. What do you think? No, freeze framing it.
Like I said, I absolutely love this thing. Not sure the scale of it, but it definitely fits in with the new fleet aesthetic. I mean, you can see the Titan in it together, and it's like, yep, those are part of the same fleet. Those are part of the same year of design kind of aesthetic, you know? So, no, I think it's really great. And I love the uniqueness of it, the shapes on it, which you'll see in other pictures, I'm sure. But, that drop-down secondary hull the way it is, I think it's just unique and something that we haven't really seen on screen in Trek before. So, I think it's fun. It's a fun way to get a new kind of design style. And I'm really glad that Bill Krause is getting his due because he's a very talented guy. So,
Yeah, and it's one of those things actually where if you remove that, which we can't really see here, but the deflector, it would still be a nice, crisp, clean ship, even with the negative space. And you can kind of see there's actually escape pods on that, so that's, I guess, the reason for it, recessed escape pods. But it's actually kind of almost a shockingly clean and crisp ship, because you can see, it's blinkies, it's phaser strips, it's our RC thrust, like you can see everything, but there's nothing else really there. But it feels like a nice simple craft, so it kind of works to its advantage there.
The thing with this one, the windows and the the running lights, again, it's based on a refit era design.
Well, done like the 80s, 70s.
But yeah, it's based on that. And it's just taking that design and upscaling it, but not really accounting for everything. Like the blinkies look too big on this for the size it's supposed to be.
That is true. Because we see a scale sort of next to the Titan roughly, and it feels about the same.
Yeah, the Titan's pretty big.
And if these are meant to be the same exact nacelles, then you know the exact size of the ship based on the orthos that we see later. So it's big. This is a high-end ship. Yeah.
But as the window placement goes, it doesn't look like many decks. And like I said, those running lights seem a little out of scale. So that's one of the pet peeves I have with the ships is they've taken really great designs and just literally upscaled them without any changes. Like you could put in more rows of deck windows in the saucer rim or something to scale it up a bit, but they don't really tend to do that.
Well said. But the next view, though, has sort of the front and the side back. These are sort of the early shots. Really suddenly develop the view of the ship. And you can see why in the trailer it was hidden. They carefully hid the bottom. And boom, here it is. It's quite different now you see it.
Yeah. And that the front view is a very unique looking, very cool view. And actually, this screen cap in particular reminds me of the NX refit.
Mm-hmm.
You hold up the NX refit, and that's pretty much what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, because of that bridge, under bridge spotlight, it makes it feel aero pontoons. They're not.
Yep.
But yeah. That's very NX refitty.
Yeah, it feels very NX01 refitty.
Because it also hides the neckness mostly. The fact it's recessed. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And that side back view again shows the uniqueness of the design. Like, I think the original had like either a photon torpedo launcher there, and then some like escape pods on the neck of the part that went down, or it was a fighter. I can't remember launcher.
The original sketch, like I say, from like the 70s or 80s, is extremely basic, right? And it is it's bulky. Bill refined the hell out of it and took the idea of the design and made it a real design, right? And then this takes that and makes it a future version. So it's a lovely lineage of old concept, fresh look. And I still Stargazer nacelles, and thank God I liked them the first time, because you like them the first time, every time you see them, you're going to like them still. Still great. Still great.
I remember not being the biggest fan of them when I first saw them, but they have grown on me, and I do like them now. I like this.
They've had to grow on you because they're everywhere. But the next shot has 3 distinct views of the turnaround, which is a great way of seeing it, and a shot I would do. Actually, it's very much a shot I would do. I mean, what a side view! It's so dynamic, and yet, as you said, the front view, it looks just entirely faithfully Starfleet until you shift, and you're like, okay, yeah, you know,
yeah. I'd say it's one of my new favorite designs because I really like that side view. It just looks so, like you said, dynamic, kind of aggressive. It's definitely got a unique look to it, and I absolutely love it. So I'm in love with this design.
And you can imagine, well, you'd like to imagine that the width, the thickness of that neck would have been until it felt right, because if it was too thin, it would feel weedy. If it was too big, it would feel bulky. It's right there in the middle.
That's the one thing about when I mentioned earlier how they just size these up without thinking about it too much. That's the one thing they did take into account, I think, here.
Yeah.
Because on the original, Constitution era style one, the neck is a lot thinner.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the fact that it integrates so well and whatever, very, very cool. But the next view is a sort of more close up, so you can kind of see the details even more. You can see there is a pennant on the side. You can see pretty low detail phaser strips. You know, we haven't evolved from Voyager at all, because that's just what the Voyager ones look like. So maybe they've gone back in technology. Don't know.
You can even see the transport emitters there, and
but no,
it's got everything it needs to.
But no phaser ball turrets.
No. Yes, it's good pointing that out.
Because they aren't on the Sagan, and they're obviously aren't on the Ilios, so that's just a tight exclusive thing, I guess. Because this was a TMP design, so somebody either took them off or didn't put them back on. Because that was what handed the ship with them.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the Titan, just sizing it up. The ball turrets go with it. I didn't think they were ball turrets, but with Doug Drexler's recent callouts, where it shows everything they are in fact ball phaser turrets. So it's like, okay.
It'd be hard to explain anything else, though.
Yeah, well.
Just giant, yes.
Then we get like an MSD style, a top and side. And yeah, that side profile is amazing. The top looks like a generic Starfleet ship,
but
like
a nice
every
one.
Other one.
But a nice one.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And this was a gift to modelers as well, because it's very clear, and you can obviously do corner pinning in After Effects to make it a clean ortho, and that's a pretty clear way of building it. Yeah, it's just wonderfully simple and yet radical. Like that's to do both those things is kind of an insane thing to do at the same time. And I like the fact that it does just feel to me like a light cruiser. How simple the saucer is, and the design choice of the secondary hull is just a design choice. It's not to do anything in particular. It's just a design choice. So it's just a light cruiser in my mind. Although I know Dave said that the aft deflector is explicitly a aft sensor long-range communication thing. It's functional. It's functional.
I love that because I get that all the time with the Foley class. Why does it have a rear-facing deflector? Well, it's not. It's a sensor palette and or long-range communication.
So in essence, I mean, really, that's just a mission pod that on the top is on the top for the nebulas. It's on the bottom for this. That's all it is. But because it's framed differently, you think differently. Although, hell, can't land. I mean, we can say that right now. This is not a landing ship. That's one of the disadvantages of that. But no, really nice joint views. And I love the fact they used they started because this is about them raising shields. I love how they did the Rathakan style bleeping shield for a split second and then cut to the bubble for the other side. So you get your cake, eating it. It's very tasty. That's a good job there. And then last shot, we get 2 other unique views. A hyper close-up, which of course shows the model in detail or not. And a front view, which is very, very... It's trying to be aggressive looking, so I just wanted to point that out. What do you think of the detail view?
Quite impressive. It definitely has like refit era style to it, I think. You can see the escape pods there, so you get a sense of if those are the same size escape pods as the Enterprise E. I'm not sure, but you kind of can get a scale of ship from that.
And also the docking door right there. So you mean that's obviously a scale indicator because there's a door right there.
I mean, you'd say that, but the same ones are on the Titan, which screw up the scaling because they didn't bother to rescale those. So
nope, because they look too small. But it's definitely, and I commend the team. It's a very, very simple 3D model, I can see so many hallmarks of this being a quick build, but it's lit very well. You know, which is funny because then you look at like Less Arena, it's built very well, lit pretty bad, season 1 and 2. So I'd rather have this that looks more like a Voyager level of quality. Like if Voyager in HD, I think this would be roughly the quality level. Maybe with a few more polygons, but detail-wise, it's very, very simple. So definitely, they're not pushing any... You know, and if this came out as an Eagle Moss model, you'd be like, oh, is that it? You know, but it's lit well, and it's lit almost faithfully. The first shot being overlit in a good way, and the bottom shot being very menacing on purpose. There's a reason for that, and it works absolutely great. Yeah, very effective, because at the end of the day, the final result is if it looks nice and it feels like Trek, you've won. So I commend them for that, and it's a good ship.
Well, it's fair to say this Wasp-style ship has stung me and has infected my heart.
It stung your heart, but it hath not exploded, except with joy.
That's right.
And good feels.
And it apparently totally missed stinging the Titan because launched 2 torpedoes and just Titan's gone.
I love the fact they're both aiming for the nacelles.
Yeah.
That was a really nice, because that's all you have to do in that situation. But Stuart, I know you wanted to briefly end out on this comparative picture that was shared with you.
Yeah, this shot he shared on his Facebook and Twitter, but he's got the Wasp and the Shangri-La class facing off, and this is like an older picture from quite a few years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, I believe. And then they replicated the same thing for this new shot, but from the other side, and did the pan around, which was glorious. But there you've got them facing off against each other, old and new. So, I mean, there are quite a few differences actually between the two designs here, but again, visually very similar. So,
and this is like I said, Bill was very faithful to the original, but fleshed out truly. And it's clear what they're doing here, but it is a different ship. Unlike the Titan, which is almost a one for one. This is actually quite different. And they definitely rethought a lot of elements. And I mean, just instantly reminding myself how small that pod is on the bottom. It's meant to be a Stinger. The new one is a secondary hull. I would not remotely call that vibe of a Stinger, which I think really works. I mean, it works well as a torpedo pod. That's a Stinger, like functionally. But these are different eras. So I imagine this might have been thought about longer of how to redevelop it. More like we need to make this fit versus let's just use the Titan. We think it's great. Let's good to go. Because it is very different actually. Now you can see them side by side.
Yeah, it's also very inspired by, because when you first look at the new one, the Intrepid, and if you're aware of the other design, you think, it's almost the same. But yeah, putting them side by side, you see the actual differences. So yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Comment down below what you think about this new design, and is it one that you're gonna want to get? Should they ever make a model of it? I mean, I'm gonna want this one for sure. So let us know in the comment section down below what you think. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and click the notification bell icon so you can join us for lives and hang out with us, because we love hanging out with you. And just hit like. Simple.
And near that button, Stuart, there is a join button. Because monthly,
yes,
we do a lot of content. It's fair to say, both live and edited review and breakdowns. All these things are free. But if you like what we do and want to support us monthly, even $5, because enough of you give $5 makes a big difference, then press that join button. Or if you don't use YouTube, go over to Patreon/Trekyards. That is amazing as well. Or one-time donations at trekyards@hotmail.com. That is the PayPal. Or you can super chat on any live video. If you see us live, jump in and say, hey guys, as a lot of you do. Here's $5. Love what you do. I'm going to sink in the background, just watch you while I'm in the gym on the treadmill and you're talking about ships. I'm like, oh my god, that's a new development in quantum field matrix. 4 miles. 5, whatever you want to do. Or super thanks on any video that we've done in literally 8 years. Holy moly. We were here before Discovery. Yes, it's true. So thanks us and anything if you want. And we thank you for thanking us. So thank you.
I think he covered it all. All right, guys. Have yourselves a good one, and we'll see you next time. Till then, he's Commander Cocky.
He's Commander Foley. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.